In preparing for this interview, Rita, it seems like this festival, the Tasveer South Asian Film Festival, began, was it 2002?
Yes.
Can you take me to the beginning? Tell me about what made you decide to spearhead making this festival happen, and also how it's evolved over the amount of time that it's been in existence.
So it was right after 9/11 that my best friend Farah Noshin and I, we both felt that we needed a space for South Asian storytelling. We couldn't find any space existing at that time where we could come together, tell our own stories, what we are feeling, what's happening in the media, how our images being there was a lot of misinformation about who a South Asian is and misrepresentation. So we wanted to take things in our own hands and tell our own stories, represent ourselves. So, and we thought there was no better way to do it through films because film could penetrate really faster and tell the story in a more visual way rather than writing a story, which is there's nothing bad with that, but we believe we wanted to use film as a tool to do that, to dispel stereotype, to create a bridge between the bigger, wider community. So yes, we started this year in 2002, March of 2002.
That's so awesome. How has the development of the festival been? Obviously, it's growing and getting more awareness, but tell me more about what that process has been like growing the festival.
Yeah, sure. So when we started, we thought in 2002 that we will start showing films. So we started showing one film at a time. And we thought, oh, there's a good response. People were really hungry for this kind of space where they can come together and heal together. So we felt there was a need. We weren't aware of this term film festival very much. We may have heard international film festival like TSAFF, but we never thought that we could do our own film festival. So in 2004, when Farah felt, why don't we do our own South Asian Film Festival? And that's when we got together and started our first film festival. And it was called Independent South Asian Film Festival. And people came. It was a 3-day festival. We showed about 9 films or so at Broadway Performance Hall in Capitol Hill. And from that, we continued on every year. As you may or may not know, our mission is to inspire social change through film arts and storytelling. And social justice is our like lens through every film that we pick and show has to some kind of have a social justice aspect to it. And we try to bring the community together and have a dialogue around that topic. So having that in mind and using social justice aspect as our tracker and beacon, we continued that on, and yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that you were inspired and motivated and supported enough to go from just showing film to becoming a film festival and ultimately turning into Tasveer. I remember I was looking at a different interview you did, and you were talking about how this was really a labor of love in the beginning. I mean, it still is, but at that point, you weren't getting paid, and there was a lot of volunteer hours that was going into making this festival happen. What was the turning point when this became like a real thing? Like maybe even in your own head, like, oh, we are actually like on par with other niche film festivals here in the area.
Yeah, that's a very good question. For a long time, we did it as a uh, fully volunteer-run organization from 2002 up till 2011, I would say.
Wow.
So I was doing a full-time job, doing as a video production person, whether at Como TV or Microsoft as a vendor, doing a full-time job and doing Tasveer on the side in the evenings,
Mhm.
uh, and still kept it as like a film festival running every year, coming back and doing a film festival. But in 2012 is when I felt I was working as a Microsoft vendor at that time, making good amount of money there, but having two jobs. So one day I just walked out of there. I said, no, this is what I want to do full time, whether, and I have to get paid no matter how meager it is,
Mhm.
a small salary, and I would work with that and make it grow. So made a 501c3 for Tasveer,
Awesome.
put a board together with my group of friends to kick it off with, and then City of Redmond had donated a small broom-sized closet, to use it as an office for free. So that was very generous of them. So I would go there and sit there every day with a desk that would fit the whole room, and had a volunteer who would come and sit with me. So that's where we started in 2012. And now we have about 10 full time staff and lots of volunteers and contractors, and really grown bigger size,
That's,
definitely.
I mean, that's incredible for you to have dedicated so much time to it and not given up and really persevered, and then finally made that decision. Like, all right, it's time, right, to make this a real thing.
Yeah.
I admire that. Like I mentioned to you before we started recording, I've been doing my website for 4 years, and I'm thinking, oh man, at some point this has got to this will
Yeah.
be a real thing. But you put the work in, you put the time in, and then
Yeah.
you'll know when it's ready. And so I'm really happy to hear that that worked out for you and for the festival.
Yeah.
I want to know what goes into making the festival happen. I'm
Hmm.
sure that I know you're probably doing a lot of work right now getting ready for this next edition of the festival that starts on November 3rd. But yeah, just tell me a little bit about what goes into making the festival happen and what your part is in putting it on.
Yeah, there is a lot that goes on in putting a film festival together. It's never a straightforward black and white process. But we kick it off with opening the submission portal, which we use Film Freeway for that. So, and our submission has grown from it has grown 5 times from past few years before pandemic, and even during the pandemic. So now it's 5 times more submissions. So we put a programming committee together. Uh, they take time to preview all those films. Then we meet regularly to select shortlist about 1/5 of the all the submission that has been submitted. Meanwhile, when that's going on, we also are working, raising money, which is very important. Without the financial support, we can't bring filmmakers in to town and host them and venues and all that. We are working on just all the it's a lot of event management actually in the back end, putting having hotels and
Mhm.
lodging and airfare,
Mhm.
getting their tickets and venue, and making sure every aspect of the event is taken care of. um, uh, Even though we say, okay, it's a film festival, there's a film screening, but a lot of thinking has to happen, like what is that a patron or a film goer who comes to it, how, what are they going to experience? And based on that, we have to design everything,
Mhm.
what are they going to experience? Is it just a film screening, they come, which they can do it at the comfort of their house?
Mhm.
So the experience of having a Q&A and having a networking event, or where they could meet the filmmaker, or the filmmaker, what is filmmakers experience when they're coming to town, are they, how are they treated and taken care of. So all that aspect has to be looked over and arranged. So experience is the best part of it.
And I absolutely appreciate that the experience from all angles, from the audience to the filmmakers that are coming, that is such a top of mind awareness for you guys. That's, very incredible and important to think about in putting a festival together. I I guess that's a massive component of how in-person festivals work, and I'm so happy to finally be back in-person film festivals. What was this like trying to navigate the whole COVID situation over the past couple of years? And was there anything that was established during trying to run the festival in COVID that has now become kind of standard?
Yeah, again, that's also a very good question. COVID taught us how to really pivot really fast and
Mhm.
take everything online, and still trying to give some aspect of that experience that someone experienced in person, which is hard to do, but we tried our best. So we had to invest a lot of money, a very expensive platform to do you as the back end for the film screening, where the filmmaker feels safe, that their film is safe, not being copied or downloaded from somewhere else.
Mhm.
And then everyone is coming seamlessly, joining online and having the Q&A. All that was uh, difficult, but not um, it's it was doable,
Mhm.
but it took a lot of organizing for that. And we do get tired of looking at the screen.
Mhm.
The eyes get tired and all that. Uh, but it was one plus thing of going during COVID and doing it online is we had so much more access to anyone who we wanted to have as an expert to join our film festival.
Right.
It was very easy to get them and say yes for that. And so and our audience grew
Awesome.
exponentially. We usually get about 5,000 over a week in-person film screenings. It was like 45,000 views.
Wow, that is a huge growth.
Yeah, it was such a huge growth, and we were looked upon as now a national organization. We are immediately kind of established ourselves nationally as the South Asian Film Festival and a leading arts organization, South Asian arts organization, and film and arts organization. And so that was wonderful. Now there's this new pressure to continue that to keep that same numbers up and
Mhm.
same quality and work. Uh, Budget wise, we are a very small organization. We're still under $1 million organization,
Mhm.
and a small team. But I think we are looked upon as like we are this big festival and a lot of funding.
Mhm.
We have Netflix as a partner. We
Oh,
have all
very
these
cool.
good sponsors, but it's still the money is very limited.
Mhm.
They're not giving us $1 million or anything. They're just giving some money and more like for outreach and stuff.
I mean, it sounds like you're making the most of what you have, and that's awesome. In fact, this festival this year will also be hybrid, right? So we have the in-person festival, but also a hybrid component as well.
Yes. So this festival, this is the first year we're going fully hybrid. One full week of in-person film screenings and Q&As, and then 2 weeks of online, being keeping the festival online. And now we have to manage both ends of that, and we have an online manager, we have in-person manager, we have a special event manager for doing in-person things, and then special event manager for doing online things. So yeah, there's a lot of additional work, but there's something about it. I think if it continues, we'll figure it out how to run it smoothly in next few years.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely hoping that that this year goes off without a hitch. Well, and I'm sure it'll be a great festival. We you were just mentioning how after COVID happened and you guys got that all of that exposure, you were looked at as like a kind of a national kind of film festival. But I'm so interested in hearing more about Tasveer on the local level. Like, what do you feel is the importance of this festival in relationship to the Seattle area?
Yeah, I think there's a big presence of our organization locally in Seattle area where we were founded, and we have a following, and we worked hard to build that community. And so we are trying to engage the community back together and asking them to come back out and support us and watch our films in person and listen to the filmmakers, um, what they have to say about their filmmaking process or their stories behind the films. So uh, the importance is we also want to inspire the filmmaking community in Seattle and support them. Um, so yeah,
I
is
mean, I
that
was going to ask about that. Like, what does the South Asian film scene look like here in Seattle, and what are you able to do, and what would you like to do to continue supporting that?
um, uh, so I really want to. We are starting to cultivate filmmaking community, South Asian filmmaking community, storytellers locally, and trying to bring together, starting a club or
Hmm.
and now tell them about different initiative about the Sphere Film Fund, and even Washington Film Works that has the new initiative. Uh, we are. Working on that, but it's very small
Hmm.
still. Most of the people who start making something, they move down to LA, which is not very far. So it's small right now.
This is certainly something I've thought about. Being native to Western Washington,
Yeah.
born and raised in this area. Um, this is certainly something I've thought about a lot because I would love filmmaking to be a bigger component of the Seattle area. And I mean, I talk with other friends who are who do like short filmmaking on a small scale. But ultimately, what I see is that when someone has talent, they leave. They go to
Yeah.
Los Angeles or even up to Vancouver, or there's other places that tend to cultivate that industry better. It seems than Seattle, and I'd love to support any effort
Yeah.
to keep filmmaking in Seattle, especially on these more specialized levels as well. If we can continue supporting South Asian filmmakers here in Seattle, Seattle's a great place to make film. Like,
Yes.
let's do it here, right?
Yes. Yeah, as the climate is changing, yes, there would be less rainy days. They can
Right.
shoot. Also, just joking. But I think there is funding here,
Hmm.
and we are trying to bring in more resources. We are creating that direct pathway to say if they want to meet a Netflix executive,
Hmm.
we can bring them to our festival, and they're coming to our festival. So we do have the Tasveer Film Fund pitch session where a lot of industry executives will be joining and listening into the pitches. So it's starting after the pandemic. It's starting back on. Um, the thing I'm experiencing as a small organization, something I'm trying to build, and it just wants to really grow really fast.
Hmm.
If I gave 5,000, say, oh, just 5,000, why
Hmm.
can we give more? And we want to give
Of course.
100,000 and $1 million. Now we raised it third year, in its third year. Now
Hmm.
we are giving 15,000
Wow.
per short film. even that is not enough.
It is a
So
very expensive industry to be in, right?
very,
Art
yeah,
can cost a lot, but that is so cool to hear that what you're able to contribute to that is growing. And
yeah,
I think the history that you gave on Tasveer, and the growth that's happened over the time that it has is a testament to how patience can get you to where you're trying to go,
yeah.
right? Which leads me, I kind of want to bring this to a close here in a minute, but that brings me to the question of what do you ultimately want to accomplish with Tasveer? What do you see as like um, a good, like a really awesome milestone for the festival?
So yeah, I have tons and tons of dreams. So I really want to make it to the point where any South Asian filmmaker who's making a film, or thinking of making a film, they will think about how to contact or get in touch with Tasveer if Tasveer could help with any resources or funding, and connecting with the right person. And they want their films to be shown at Tasveer. So we want to become the ultimate Sundance or Tribeca of South Asian Film Festival, and also helping them make their films and getting recognitions in the mainstream media and getting seen untold stories.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And completely respect that. And I hope that you get there. I mean, it seems like you're on the way. This is such a cool festival to have here in the Seattle area. And I think we're very fortunate to have you leading the way and trying to accomplish those kind of objectives. So very cool. Are there any final thoughts or anything you want people who may not be familiar with Tasveer to know about the festival?
Yeah, I think because we are coming back after 2 years of hiatus, being
Hmm.
online, and if people could just come out to support and watch at least one film that we have uh, going at the festival out of, well, total is 104, but in person is about 20 some films. And that would be a huge help because we are very nervous. We don't know how it will go to bring people together in person. Are they coming or not? So we are waiting to see how this will go. And not to make that, oh, it's because it's South Asian, that's the barrier, because story transcends. It's
Hmm.
no matter what community or what ethnicity it is, but the story is universal,
Hmm.
and it will connect with you. And yeah, so uh, yeah, I just want people to appreciate what we have put together.
It
And
certainly is an accomplishment what you have achieved with Tasveer so far, and I am very excited to tell more people about it and hope that we can get that attendance up, keep getting people to come out and supporting what you guys are trying to do.
yeah,
So,
great, great.
do you want to talk really quickly about the lineup of events and films, maybe just on a generic scale?
Yeah, we have our opening night, which we are very excited. It's a lighthearted comedy diaspora film about four people trying to find themselves. It's called Four Samosas, and we have a very exciting, fun event figured out for that evening. We have samosa chaat. We have the toll player doing a marching from Optimism Brewery to
Wow.
the Egyptian, and then the film would start and a Q&A will happen. So it's a fun evening. The following day, also we have an amazing documentary called All That Breeds, which is a Cannes Pomidor uh, documentary award that it won. So the filmmaker is coming, and of all the festivals, he has picked our festival to attend.
Yay.
So we have just amazing films and world premiere of this British diaspora film that will be coming, and we have some stars coming for the centerpiece. And then the closing night, we will close with the three. winners from Tasveer Film Fund
Oh, fun.
that was supported by Netflix. So yeah, we would have an exciting showcase of that and a reception to follow after that.
That's so awesome. Great. Thank you for sharing that. And like I said, I can't wait to tell more people about the festival and hope that everyone comes out for these really cool events.
Thank
So,
you, thank you.
yeah, Frida, thank you so much for taking this time with me. I love learning more about the festival and I can't wait to share.
Okay, thank you, Thomas.